So I'm walking through this awesome garden with the Wormy Queen, Melissa from letitrot.org. Her life has really like transformed organically with her organic mission and waste-free lifestyle. So I'm keeping my distance, you know, with the pandemic and everything, and you're gonna hear some cool stuff about her today.
I was not like nature girl. I was going to school for medicine. I wanted to be in medical research or an actual doctor. I have struggled with autoimmune disease my whole life, and I wanted to help people who had like a really rough experience getting healthy. I took an elective class called social entrepreneurship, and the project for the class was to come up with a business that complemented our nonprofit partner, which was the food bank. Wrote a business plan where we composted the expired food donations at the food bank, and I ended up getting offered $25,000 to make the project happen. So I did. Diverted 10,000 pounds of food from the food bank, which would have been like about 4,000 pounds, which is 2 tons of greenhouse gas emissions. Like I have had the trash pickup service and Squirmy headquarters in Jupiter for about 2 years, and I went from collecting about 50 to 100 pounds of garbage a week to collecting like 600 to 1,500 pounds of garbage a week.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we process all of it in 900 square feet of space. And then we also harvest like 50 to 100 pounds of soil, and we mix that with fresh scraps and feed it to the worms. I only sell worm poop. It takes like 10 months to a year to make my product. So I'm in like a weird growing adolescence of the business where a little bit of stuff to sell, but I bring in a lot of material to make it with. Since like 2015, I've been the Worm Queen.
That's awesome.
I'm just hoping like the love that people have here for the environment is gonna spread out into areas where it's not so obvious. Every part of what I do with Let It Rot has an impact. It's all done in the shortest distance possible. It's hauled back to one central location, and then without any other equipment, we do all of the processing by hand. Down to when we wash, scrub, and sanitize the buckets, we recycle the gray water into the compost system and around the farm. The pickup program, all of those people who participate, they get to compost their trash without having to do anything other than throw it in a bin that I collect and then compost, clean, maintain, and give back to them. Anything. I take all kinds of stuff that a lot of compost companies don't take and a lot of worm farmers wouldn't take, like paper towels, like hemp strings, clothing tags, laser receipt paper, shredded paper, pencil shavings, bamboo materials, like anything that's made out of plants. And then I do accept some like fish product, seafood product as well, and eggshells. Gets processed in the big compost pile for like 6 months, then sifted by hand, so no energy. And that soil is mixed with more scraps into the worm systems. The worms then eat that and work it over and poop it back out, and then that gets run through an electrical harvester that I made. It's cured for another 2 to 4 weeks, and then I sell it as an alternative to pesticides and fertilizer, helping people reduce the amount of synthetic chemicals and poisons that they put into the groundwater supply and into their immediate vicinity by giving them a product that's made out of 100% recycled materials in as low an impact system as possible. And it has like these incredible results. It's just closing the whole loop. There's a lot of people who believe in organic farming practices, eating healthy, vegetarian, vegan, cage-free, free-range, grass-fed, regenerative, kind, and natural farming practices. The trash parts that we can't use or benefit from often get overlooked. It's not very glamorous, but it's such a cool process to see. It's like literally alchemy. You're just taking all of this garbage and then I'm literally turning it into black gold. Get to be Pigpen as an adult.
Can you accept more people in the route right now, or do you have plans to in the future, and how do people get involved?
The pickup route originally was to haul trash from businesses. Turned out more like individuals and families really cared about their impact and found value in what I was offering as a service. So
and
now
$10 a month is like nothing.
For $10 a month, you can what is it, up to 10 gallons of compostable trash. I'll collect every other week. So it's 2 to 3 pickups a month, no matter what. Like holidays, bad weather, global pandemics. Having like 3 or 4 residents 2 years ago when I started, and like 5 businesses to like 70 residents.
Wow.
And like 5 businesses. As I collect more and more clients, I'll be able to find community locations where I can establish these farms and process that city's worth of trash at that community spot, and potentially offer like volunteer hours, internships, or part-time jobs for younger people who want to come learn about how to grow food, how to live sustainably.
And like, think about the experience you could have as a student right now, even if they do mostly online next year. I don't know what their plan is still there.
Community supported compost. It's a gift I'd like to be able to give to each community so it could stay a community driven thing, because ultimately that was who propped up the ability for me to have Let It Rot as a business. Palm Beach County closed their last commercial compost facility in 2012. And there's been no more commercial compost operations in Palm Beach County ever since. There are no regulations on vermiculture commercially in the state of Florida. So I compost as a means to feed my worms, which are just livestock. So the trash I haul is feed.
Right.
So I'm
You're getting free feed. That's all you're doing.
I'm a worm rancher. I'd say that now I'm probably at about like 80,000 to 100,000 worms. I also sell worms out of my system that are acclimated to the Florida climate, because that's the hardest thing about worm farming here, is getting them used to the humidity. Slows down my trash processing, which is the ultimate goal.
Which is why you're so picky about them, because I know you're asking me all these questions. Like, I only give my worms to somebody who's going to take care of them properly.
I killed so many worms trying to learn how to compost with them, and I wish that who I had bought them from
Explained.
Even like they weren't from Florida, so they just don't understand. Like, I called them up, like, I have a lizard problem, what do I do? And it's like, oh, we don't have lizards.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what to tell you.
What do you mean?
Like, I kind of put people through the ringer, but like I want to make sure they know it's like adopting a low maintenance pet. You have to give them attention and don't be afraid. So.
And it is actually, now that you say that, it's kind of like a puppy, because they've gone to Wormy Queen school. They are acclimated for our actual environment and our climate, and now they're ready for you, but you still have to like take care of them. You can't just be like, all right, I got my trained puppy.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna leave it outside.
I sell 5 and 7 gallon worm compost systems, a 3-page manual that I wrote about how to maintain them and care for them. I started offering like video chat consults, assembly lessons. So we put it together. They're moody and temperamental, and they don't like thunderstorms, and most of them aren't used to being kept outdoors in Florida. They only like to move around at night, and
They're more like cats than
they're
dogs. Sorry.
social but not social. They're scared of vibrations, but they need enough friends around in order to feel safe. It's all just up to you and how patient you are with them, but how attentive you are to them.
Yeah, it's the perfect quarantine project, honestly. We did the baby chicks, but now I'm like, man, we need worms.
Like, I started to get all these super cool clients who wanted to compost but didn't have the time to do it, and like were my little cheerleaders. Like, all of my trash I can feel good about. The impacts just keep rolling out the more you think about it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today, Melissa, and thank you guys for watching.